We all good, Cliff? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Reynolds Coliseum. We're going to get started now with the Tennessee press conference. Coach, could you please start with an opening statement?
Yeah, obviously I'm really proud of our team. We knew that was a tough and highly efficient basketball team that we were playing today in Green Bay. They've had a terrific season. So we focused on them all week. We put a lot of time in knowing that we were going to have to guard and go against a really good opponent. So, but I don't take this win lightly. I understand that that's a big win for us. Excited about how we played, excited about our poise, and glad we're moving on.
Thank you, Coach. I should remind you that while they're in here, their locker room is open downstairs. So we'll now open the floor up for questions for the student athletes. So it's just for the student athletes in this segment. If you have a question, please raise your hand and wait for the microphone to get to you. So are there any questions for the student athletes? Start with Bob.
Kia, what was going so well for you in the lane? Looked like you were able to dominate pretty much at times.
I feel like my teammates just found me. I feel like we were very efficient on both ends of the floor, and I feel like we just stayed within our offense. And, we just know our plays, so, where the open person would be. And I feel like we capitalized on their mistakes. So I feel like it was just very good down the stretch for us.
All right, other questions for the student athletes? Let's go to Ethan.
Hey, Ethan McDowell from the Wolfpacker. With the quick turnaround preparing for Monday, what's the key to mentally refocusing, getting ready to prepare for whichever team you have to play next?
Sarah, could you please answer that?
Yes, sir. I feel like we enjoy this win today. Just get some rest. We're definitely going to need that. And then it's like you said, it's a quick turnaround, so we're going to trust our coaches and what they're doing to prepare us for the next game. And now we're on to the next. So we're completely thinking about NC State or Chattanooga, right? And so we're just, we're ready for the next game. We're going to come out hungry just like we did for this game, and we're excited.
Let's go to Lindsay up front.
Lindsay Gibbs with Power Plays. That first quarter was really tight, and in the second quarter you were able to really go on a 21-7 run. What clicked? What changed between the first and second quarters?
Rakia, could you start, please?
Yes. I feel like we just stayed poised. We knew coming in Green Bay was a great, efficient offensive team. So we just knew we had to stay within ourselves. And I feel like we just started wearing them down on the defensive end. I feel like we were just so connected on the defensive end today and, helping each other, talking. We were just doing everything because we knew that they were a great, efficient offensive team. And in order to beat them, we would have to do that. So I feel like we just clicked tonight on the defensive end.
Sarah, do you have anything to add?
I would just say the communication part of it was the big turnaround on the defensive end because that's what got us in sync, and we were just playing for each other.
Okay, any other questions for the student athletes? Anyone? All right, ladies, you're excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, ladies. You need to take a seat. I apologize. Thank you, Cliff. I forgot about Zoom. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to go to Maria Cornelius. Maria, do you have a question?
Talked a lot about this team's ability to become tougher over the course of the season. So both for Sarah and Rakia, that is not an easy thing to do, to change a team's mental approach to the game. How did y'all manage to do that and earn the praise from your head coach, who, quite frankly, was one of the toughest players to ever play at Tennessee?
Sarah, could you answer that first?
Yes. I feel like it started off in practices. I mean, she pushed us to our limits in practice, and she really wanted us to succeed there because she knew it would transfer over to the game, and she's been through what we've been through, and so we are trusting her in that process, and I feel like, she's really got us to where we are today.
Rakia, do you have anything to add?
I just agree. I feel like her saying that we were tough meant a lot because in the beginning of the season we felt like, we weren't. And I felt like we've been showing the toughness that we have. And, hearing that from your head coach, it just means a lot. And it makes us just want to continue to do that for her. So it was just great.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, now you can be excused. Sorry about that. All right, at this time, we'll go ahead and open up the floor for questions for Coach Harper. Let's start with Bob.
Your offense kept going pretty good, but it looked like the defense is what changed allowed you to have that stretch for a while. Both teams are going to score in the hundreds maybe, but what changed for you?
Yeah, I thought you're right. Our offense was pretty consistent throughout the game, but our defense really changed the complexion of the game in that second quarter. We had no deflections in the first quarter, and I think to finish the game, we finished with about 17, and we just upped our activity. I thought we upped our intensity a little bit. We stayed within our system. We didn't change our system too much from first quarter on, but our players were able to find their comfort, be a little bit more aggressive, and make things difficult. I thought they made some tough shots in the first quarter. I didn't know if they would be able to continue to make those tough shots, and they missed some of them in the second, and I think that was a big difference.
Let's go back there, and then we'll get Lindsay.
Daniel Wilson, Inside Pack Sports. Just kind of zoom out a little bit. February 28th, 2013, last win as head coach of NC State at Reynolds against Virginia. With all that's transpired in the 11 years since then, to come back here and get the win today, just can you talk about, I guess, a sort of full circle moment?
Yeah, I'll say this. Obviously, I had some great time here, loved a lot of the people, and enjoyed being here. But a lot has happened for me in 11 years. I have 2 children now. I've worked at 2 different institutions, gone to the NCAA tournament with 2 other teams. So it feels like a lifetime ago, to be quite honest with you. It's pretty cool to come back here and be able to play here in a historic Coliseum, but I don't want it to be all about that because it there's so many great stories in women's basketball. I'll be honest with you, bringing Tamari Key here to play in the NCAA tournament is a great one too.
Okay, Lindsay, you got a question in front?
Can you talk a little bit about Jules Spears' impact in that second quarter? She got really hot and just seemed to be everywhere.
Yeah, obviously, Jewel was making shots, and we kept going to her, kept trying to find her some good looks, and she knocked them down. Obviously, at the same time, we were getting stops on the defensive end, and that lead just grew. And obviously, Jewel was a big part of that.
Okay, can we go back to Bob?
As far as first round games go, is this about as smooth as you could expect or hope for?
Yeah, listen, we have worked so hard all week. I'm telling you, we did not. We knew we were playing a good team. I cannot emphasize that enough. And so for us to be able to get an easy win, that's a big deal. That is a big deal. And you're watching the NCAA tournament and you're seeing upsets, and we didn't want to be on that end of it today. And our players were locked in, focused, and they're the ones that made this game go smoothly.
All right, let's go to Zoom. Maria, did you have a question for Coach?
Yes, Coach, I wanted to ask you about Avery Strickland. She obviously, you anticipated a bigger role for her this season, but then those back-to-back concussions really put her back. How good was it to get her in, especially transferring from Pitt, having played there, and then she gets a steal and a basket right after she gets in?
Yeah, what Avery brings us, she brings great athleticism, great energy. I mean, she plays so hard. She has the ability to get downhill, and she can shoot the 3. So, obviously her development has been a little hindered with injuries right when we in a tough time. But she's hung in there. I tell you, she's practiced hard and, continues to improve. It was good to get her some extended minutes there in that fourth quarter.
A quick follow-up, if I can. The difference between the first and second quarter, it looked like it was just an execution issue. I mean, the perimeter defense from the first to the second quarter was night and day in terms of pressure. I assume you didn't have to tell your team much, just basically sort of get back to what you had planned to do.
Yeah, we made a few minor tweaks, but for the most part, the difference between the first quarter and second quarter, like I said earlier, was our activity on the ball. I thought we were a little bit more aggressive. I thought we contested a little bit better. We talked, we communicated better defensively during that time as well.
All right, and we have another Zoom question from Brad Lake. Brad, do you have a question for Coach Harper?
Yes, hi, Coach. As we all know, the legacy of the Tennessee program being in every single NCAA big dance. How is the squad that you have now contributing to the success and legacy of Tennessee?
Well, I'd like to think we're still writing it. I think this team has been through a lot this year. I think they have grown. I think they have stepped on the court with class, and I think, represented our university and our program really well. And I think, there's a lot of pressure to play at Tennessee, a lot. And not everybody can handle that. Not everybody understands it. Not everybody could do it. This team has, embraced a challenge, and we've asked them for more and more and more, and they hung in there all year, and the result is we're playing our best basketball now, and that's what I'm proud of.
All right, are there any other questions? Yes.
Coach, how nice was it to see Tamari get on the floor after not playing last season, and then in front of her home crowd as well?
Yeah, I think, that's a great story. Tamari being able to play here at home for her, and, being effective in the game as well. And what a great story for her, what she's been through medically, and to be able to fight through and come back and help lift this team throughout this season and now in the NCAA tournament. Just really proud of her, happy for her.
Any other questions? All right, Coach, thank you
All
very
right.
much. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations. All right, we are now ready to begin the Green Bay portion of the press conference. Coach Borseth, if you could please start with an opening statement.
Yeah, I'm really proud of our team. Great year, all things considered. Played against a really good Tennessee team. They're a lot better than their record indicates, in my opinion. But, yeah, we're proud of our crew. I thought our crew was represented ourselves really well. Yeah, so it was a great year.
All right, thank you, Coach. At this time, we'll open the floor up for questions for the student athletes. Once again, any questions for the student athletes, please raise your hand and we'll get you a microphone. Start with Bob up front.
Bob Sutton with the Associated Press. Maddie, it looked like the offense was going pretty smooth in the first quarter. What kind of changed after that?
Yeah, I think the momentum kind of swung a little bit, and we kind of got a little bit passive. They kind of switched into a zone, so we had to kind of change our offensive tactic, kind of where we were going. So they switched up their defense on us, so I think our momentum with how we were at first going at it kind of had to switch a little bit. So, yeah.
Okay, let's go up here.
Lindsay Gibbs with Power Plays. Obviously, you can tell you're both pretty emotional right now. Can you describe what you're feeling and kind of what the mood was like in the locker room, what you guys were saying to each other?
Natalie, could you go first?
Yeah, it was pretty sad, not going to lie. I love playing for this team, and I love playing for Coach Borseth here, and I'm just sad it's all over. And
okay, go.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
Maddie?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. They were a really good team, and they kind of proved it. And it's sad that it's over and we lose some great people like Natalie. But, yeah, we have nothing to be sad about, really. Our season was great and everything to be proud of.
Let's go back to Lindsay.
Natalie, you are a senior. What's next for you?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm going to be finishing my master's degree in cybersecurity, so that's what's next for me so far. But yeah, I got a lot of free time now, but we'll have to figure that out.
Let's go back to Bob.
For both players, what was it about Tennessee's size and height that was so challenging?
Maddie, could you go first this time?
I think this was the biggest and probably strongest team that we've played all season long. So I think kind of coming in, we were like, well, we're a little bit undersized, but that's okay. You know, it's about what's inside, not necessarily what's physically. But I don't think coming in we were too scared about that. But when we got out there, you know, they're a tough team. They're big girls. They're tough girls. And so I think it was a little bit challenging when we got out there, but we played with them for a while.
Natalie, do you have anything to add?
No, I agree with Maddie. We were playing with them, but it's tough when they're all way bigger than you, and then you get fouled, and it's tough.
Let's go back there.
What's this experience been like with 5 or 6 girls coming back next year, Maddie? What is this going to do to motivate you to get back to the tournament again?
Yeah, this experience has been something that we'll never forget. I mean, all of us besides Natalie have never been here before, and the opportunity is unbelievable and incredible experience. And so with a bunch of us returning again, we're going to keep fighting to come back here, and it's going to be good to have that experience under our belt.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Is that a question on Zoom, do you think? Okay. Brad, do you have a question for the student athletes? Apparently not. All right, are there any other questions for the student athletes? All right, ladies, thank you very much. You're excused.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll open up the floor for questions for Coach Borseth.
When Tennessee made some early perimeter shots, did that just heighten the problems you might have in trying to defend them, or?
They made everything. They shot really well. I mean, they were 70% in the second quarter, 65% in the first quarter. That's pretty good shooting. Now, granted, some of them were over smaller people. Some of them every time we made a mistake, we went underneath 0 3 times, and 3 times she hit a 3. We weren't supposed to go under, but they made shots when they had to make them, obviously, and then, of course, now you're battling around that rim, and all we could do is foul them around there. We got quite a few fouls around there, but that size is a pretty big factor.
Other questions for the coach? Let's go to Lindsay.
How does this compare to the previous tournaments that you've been a part of, and what are you going to take primarily from this season?
Well, anytime you play in a national tournament against a big name, be it Tennessee, be it Oklahoma, be it LSU, you're playing against some pretty good teams. You know, you go back and you look at Tennessee's losses. They lost 4 games early in the year when 2 wasn't playing. And they lost 5 games, 3 of them to South Carolina and 2 of them to LSU. That's 9. That's 11. That's 9 losses out of their 11. So they're pretty good. And they almost beat South Carolina. So this was they're a good team. You know, that's all I can say. We had to play perfect, and even at that, you know, I thought they played really well, and they've got some players that can play. I thought we held 2 down, and she had 24 points. I mean, but we spent a lot of time substituting people in and out with a lot of foul trouble. But yeah, a national tournament's a national tournament. You're always playing against really good teams. We'd have liked to got a little closer in score, obviously, but I think for the most part, we our kids represented themselves and the university really well. I was proud of that.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.